The sun is out, the sky is blue. We're in Brugge and we're here for Tom's Tourney. In the open division, it's Grut versus CUSB Fotta with myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Corey Sostre from University of Virginia, player from the USA, over in Europe for the summer and loving a chance to get behind the microphone for Ulti TV. And Corey, these two teams have had a funny old start to the tournament, but we're expecting a fireplace of a match here.
Oh yeah, exactly. And just, I mean, especially with Fotta, I've seen them play before too, especially in their last tournament in Bologna, their own tournament. They came in the finals, they brought a lot of energy, have a lot of explosive players, and they brought a star-studded lineup to this team too. And with Grut, I think just kind of hearing that they're more in for fun, they're kind of here to, to have some experience, kind of grow as a team. So it's just going to be a very interesting tournament, a very interesting play, just to kind of see how they go. Yeah.
Let me just see if I get that.
Oh yeah, that works just better.
A little bit better, yeah. Okay, yeah. So the Grut story, for those who aren't familiar, is that Grut is a mixed team. Why are they doing here in the Open? And the women were here earlier in the women's division. Well, they've decided just to try and get more pitch time, more playing time together, and also to kind of test each other and have a bit of fun. They've come to Tom's Tourney, doesn't have a mixed division. So they've come here to play the best teams in Europe as men and as women in the division. Fotta, chatting to Arturo Laffi before, they said, we've no idea what to make of this team. We've never seen them play. We've watched them, but they've always played as a mixed team, and now we get to see what they're like as individuals in a men's squad. So, wide open. And if you're watching it with expectant eyes, sort of wondering what might happen here, so are we. As a very, very poor pull is punished as it gets jogged up the line by Ben Ort. Resets to Janssen. Janssen back to Ort, flows up the line to Janssen again, looking for a short field early score for the offense. Finds the disc, it's going to catch in the air. Two players go up, kind of going to get up and down. Oh, he manages to keep it up off the floor. There was contact, he managed to stay in. It's been signalled up by Laffi. Signalled in, and oh, what a start to the game.
That was amazing. I mean, just kind of keeping that concentration. You could see the disc just getting taken by the wind right there, and you're wondering, is it going to impact the catch or anything? But both players kind of going out, and it looks like just there. Oh my goodness. Daniel Epstein just keeping that concentration to, one, keep his body in play, and then two, also make sure that the disc is up to secure the catch.
Yeah, it was Epstein with the grab in the end, Janssen with the assist. And Janssen and Ort are the two players you're going to see really take charge on the offense. They are very, very experienced, still very young. Ben Ort is 22 years old, and he's got a number of years of experience under his belt.
With that being said, too, he's going to need that experience for, I think, the Fotta just team in general. I'm expecting a lot from their D-line. That point wasn't really too good. Again, the pull kind of coming in before half, but let's see if their O-line can capitalize and maybe put a score on the board.
Yeah, so the CUSB story here is normally CUSB play with, like, their premium side is Fotta, and their sort of second side is the Red Balls. Here they've split their lines. So this is the Fotta O-line playing here, and it's immediately picked off, just baited the space, and Volkerschlapp steps in, smacks it to the ground. Epstein steps to the disc. Can he find a way through? Inside break shot, and it's too easy. A first point break for the Grut D-line. Fotta, well, left asking the questions, really.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of didn't really expect this turnout, honestly, to begin with. That's one break, I should say, to start right now, and then also a hold. But Daniel Epstein just kind of getting in his own right there, as you can see with that inside flick to Aaron Morrison. Just buttery. I mean, this is a great start for Grut, if this is what you want.
Yeah, they have got off to the perfect start. Interesting, Volkerschlapp there was the player that got the interception. Almost left the gap, didn't he? Like, come on, there's a gap here. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, no, there isn't. There's two hands with Dutch hands. They're going to take the disc off you. And yeah, then slamming it into the end zone. Grut very happy. That 2 point start is going to serve them well. So Grut having beaten Smash D very easily in the pool. They've then just lost a universe point game to Pelt, which they said they should have won. So this is really must-win material. It would set up a three-way tie in the pool. So they'll be looking for a win or make their route further in the tournament. Very, very difficult if you don't win your pool, it becomes tricky. But Fotta at 6s and 7s here. The disc to Zani was behind him. He reached out a hand and couldn't control it. And as we were wrapping the previous point, Fotta have turned over again. Their O-line is in a bit of a mess.
And if I'm Fotta right now, I'm kind of a little shaken. This game can get ugly really fast.
Again, that break, force, flick. This time finding space for Kashap. Looks down the line, stall count getting higher. He's going to have to find something off. He throws a big spicy hammer spiraling through the sky. It's going to come down with a little bit of force on it. Joris Steneker was underneath it, but the disc just hung in the air too long. No mistake from the defense.
David Ferrero right there getting up, I should say. What a D.
Mastroianni dumps it back. Corpi to Zani. Zani sends it deep. There's a lot of separation here. The Grut players are catching up quickly, but better position. A great run in and a good grab from Ferrero. Pops it across. What a good reception, and right from their own end zone. That was a put in a bit, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, Ferrero right there, that's not quite bookends because he didn't catch the score, but honestly, I mean, I consider it that. If you get the D and then also the assist, some say that might even be better. And again, just share the wealth with your teammate. Davide Parodi just kind of going down the field, catching the score. That's what Fotta needed to get on the right foot right there.
Yeah, Parodi doing the work, supporting. It's so frustrating if you are catching that big long putt just shy of the end zone to turn around, and then it's stall 5 before you have an option. But there was a great follow-up, and because two Grut players had chased down following the disc, it meant there was a free receiver available, and Fotta capitalise.
And right there with Fotta too, as you can kind of see within the picture, it's great by their teammates to just kind of have the patience not to immediately run down to the end zone. That's what a lot of teams try to do. They get excited, they want to catch the score, so they kind of clutter that zone. But right there you could see just Parodi kind of taking his time there.
Ben Ort gesticulating at the crowd. He's got such powerful throws, and the deep receivers know what he can do. So they horizontal stack setup very, very deep. Chris Harris finds Ort again. Sends it deep. That's going to catch a bit of breeze. What's underneath it? But well read all the way in. Ricardo Cozara was underneath it for Fotta, but couldn't connect. And is it Jasper Ten Haken? Oh no, sorry, it was Matthew Blasman with the goal.
And what just a deep shot too by Ben Ort right there. I mean, that was perfectly put. A nice OI disc just to catch some of the wind and go right in there to Blasman's hands.
Yeah, Ort is, I just love watching him play. He's got an authority on the field now, which, you know, considering his youth, is quite astounding. You know, there's players in their 30s that still look less nervous than he does. They still look more nervous than he does. It just feels so like, this is my field. You go there. You go there. I'm going to send this big disc, and you better catch it.
Kind of like a maestro. He's just kind of orchestrating, like you said, the field and everything like that, and then working with Walt Jensen. Just honestly, those two on the pair is a really dangerous handler set.
Yeah, Janssen and Ort with 1 assist each in the game. I think we have one missing stat there. We'll might see if we can put that back in. Big pull coming. Wind catching it. It's coming over our left shoulder, the wind, as we're sitting watching it from the same angle as you are. Arturo Lafi breaks around to Pavin, down the field, across to Corpi. Corpi to Prodi. Prodi looks back across and finds Lafi advancing, quick to pop over the top, and it's made to look really easy. Riccardo Zani sprinting free in the end zone for a point, in much, much better for Fotta.
Exactly, and this is kind of what we expected from them to kind of keep the momentum going. And what I want to emphasize too is the handling right there by Prodi, just kind of having that mark. Most times people just kind of take for granted just that throw up line, but you could see he made his way through that space, he declared it, and just a nice upfield throw so that way it can have the connection to the score to Zani.
The cream of Bologna, CUSB Fotta out here enjoying the Bruges sunshine. Tom's Tourney having had 2 years off a COVID-inspired hiatus, which we've all missed very, very much. The European Ultimate Elite scene back here in Belgium, and hosting this tournament is the Frisbees team. They put on an amazing show, and Corey, European Ultimate is new to you. Just what have you made of the tournament so far from what you've seen?
Well, first off, I had to say a big shout out to our volunteers and just kind of organizers for this tournament. It's a beautiful day. We're up here on platforms and umbrellas, so it's been very beautiful, just very nice. But honestly, European Ultimate, I love kind of the sportsmanship. That's the big thing too, but it's just kind of how the flow and the athleticism take over.
Coming through there is Harris with the disc. Drops it to the sideline. Van der Brink. Oh, that's a good interception there by Zani for Fotta. Moving it quickly up the field. Spreads the play now to Rossi. Back to Mastroianni. Back to Rossi. Just catches it in stride, looks up the line. Was in the power position for a moment. Gets called back by Volt Janssen. Zani again, and into the front of the end zone for Fotta. They've leveled it up, they've broken Grut back after the Dutch started so strongly, and it's 3 apiece here in Belgium.
This is exactly what we wanted, just getting Fotta back in the game. Maybe again, I always say, kind of just, pre-stream jitters, getting on the camera, kind of having the audience behind you, but 3-3 all, this is a pretty good game so far.
Yeah, so the scene here in Belgium is beautiful, and Corey, you were just explaining your impression of the European Ultimate scene. How does it compare from a competitive standpoint?
Competitive-wise, I think, again, a lot more of the sportsmanship. Not to say anything about American sportsmanship, that's great as well, too. But just kind of what took me by surprise kind of initially coming in was, first, the spirit circles at the beginning of the game. That's a big thing for me too, because usually there at the end of the game, you high five, you kind of come together, just talk about everything. But at the beginning of the game, like I've seen for European Ultimate, is really nice, because that way you can kind of establish the rules. Since Frisbee is technically a no contact sport, you can say, hey, we like a little contact, we don't like a little contact, and just kind of establishing those boundaries and getting to know your first, just the person before the opponent, so that way you can have some kind regards and keep the game going.
Humanizing the opponent before the game gets serious. I like that.
Exactly, and just you can also see that with a lot of calls. If it's an uncontested foul, just kind of having that trust within the opponent team and then also within your team to know what the right call is, and just again, great sportsmanship. You love to see it.
Believe this is Maurice Wittcomb walking the disc in, and it's a different look from the Fotta defense. They've come down, looks more like a zone, but they're very flexible. They're all moving around and not quite sure where the cup was or is. And that's landed on an ankle, and Wittcomb goes over in a heap. Immediate yelp of discomfort.
And you just hope he's okay too. That looked like a pretty, you never plan for those things, but it just looked like a pretty rough collision. right into his shin, catching the ankle. Oh.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was trying to avoid the contact, but as Vitkum was moving towards the same space, difficult to control the momentum. Ferrero was the Italian player involved. Double team for a moment, it backs off quickly. Sharp.
And I think it's an injury call too, right here, Tom. I think Vitkum's it's nagging.
Sorry, I think that's Blasman. That's I could read the 9. I thought it was a 69. It's not. It's Tom Blasman that's gone off there. And yeah, he's not going to be playing any more part in this point. Hopefully we can get him back before the end of the game, and certainly it just looks like a knock rather than a strain, but want to be sure about these things before we make an injury worse.
Exactly. We're not doctors. We're just making assumptions here too, folks. So, oh wow.
Somehow that disc looked on. It didn't never look on from here, but they tried to jam it through. The Italians have got it back, and a huge bid into the space. Arturo Laffi finding the gap down the sideline and running through and grabbing as 18, which I think is Riccardo Casara.
And wow, what concentration. I mean, as you can see with Grut right there, just kind of using what I call the intimidate, is that you kind of intimidate, you go for it, but you don't quite get it. But the concentration from Fotta to just kind of look at it, realize I need to make the move on this disc, and just to secure it for the score. And as we see right here, Fotta we're down. We're down to 3-1, I think. And now they changed it to go up to 4-3.
Yeah, so Fotta, 3-1. They were down 2-0 with an opening break from Grut, but they've scored their own offensive point at 2-3. And now have that 4-3 lead. And the Italians looking really strong. Grut have got a lot in the bag yet. They just need to find it and stop making stop making the basic mistakes.
Exactly, just kind of looking around, making sure that your throws are right there, catching your throws as well. Just, kind of have some communication, like you said, just some common mistakes. But again, what we've seen from Grut to start off the game, I fully expect that too.
The disc soars high through the blue skies here in a gorgeously sunny city of Brugge, as Ben Ott claps the pull as it comes down. He had time to stand underneath it and wait, and the defense were there as well. Oh, not the optimal disc. It was aimed at Volt Janssen, but he couldn't contain that one. It was a half-field hammer.
It was impressive too. I mean, it was kind of coming down sharp, so I was expecting Jensen to kind of maybe use 2 hands right there instead of the 1, but it just slipped right from him.
It was a hard to get 2 hands on that with the balance he needed. Ross, he sends it across the end zone. Pressure arriving, but Fotta rises higher, brings it down to make it 5-3, and Grut, having started so strongly, are now struggling.
Yeah, and even then too, you can see the full extension from Fotta on that catch. I mean, like you said, using that leverage, you sometimes have to give up that second hand, but he fully used that 1 hand to catch it. And again, it's tables are turning. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I'm impressed by how much of the pressure, how much of that point came from the pull. Mm-hmm. The pull wasn't particularly deep, but it just hung, and Ben Ott is waiting for it to come down, and the Fotta defense is not only there, they're set, and they're standing still set, ready for that disc to come into play. Creates a hell of a lot of pressure, and mentally it's a really bad start to the point, isn't it, if you're the handler with that position?
Exactly, and that's exactly what Fotta do. I mean, you practice and practice and practice your pulls, but that was exactly what you wanted, especially if you come out in the cup zone defense to get set up. And just, like you said, Ort just had to applaud.
Yeah, there was nothing he could do. Just stand there and clap. And Grut, running out of options, decided to go deep. The hammer was so speculative. I wonder if it would have been better to send it to the end zone. At least he would have lost, gained a little bit more field position. That's a raking backhand into space over the top of the Fotta zone. Advancing now. This is better from Grut. Steneker into the centre of the field to Bohm, and Bohm finds a receiver in the end zone. They steady the ship. Matthew Blasman with his second point of the game, and a much better flow. Once they got across the top of that Fotta defence, Corey, they really did get the motors going.
Exactly, and honestly there too, just kind of seeing Daniel Epstein just kind of take into his own, and we saw in the beginning of the game he was kind of facilitating points. He had he has a goal before, but just that time you can see him being kind of the main handler. It's running through and just getting back-to-back passes to facilitate that offense. But that's exactly what Grut wants, just to kind of right the ship, like you said, but then also come out with the intensity so that way they can get a break to even up the score.
Well, it'll be their first offensive point in 5 when they come out in the next point here. They will be keen to put some pressure back onto the Italians. CUSB Fotta from Bologna in the white shirts against Grut from the Netherlands in the red and blue. Grut, the mixed team, have split their sides for this tournament, so this is just the men. I think they have one player who won't be going to Cincinnati. They have 24 players in the Cincinnati squad, so 12 men, 12 women, and one extra man in the squad here. So quite a short side, but Fotta splitting their sides between Fotta and Red Bulls, two Bologna teams. Straight up the sideline now, it's going to be going out of bounds. It comes back in bounds, and Davide Prodi's right underneath it. Superb flowing offense from the Italians. Nothing the defense could do. They never really got near the disc, Corey.
No, not at all. I mean, besides that initial break that they had, that was amazing pull right there for the catch. And the wind's slightly picking up here, so you can see a lot more bombs. But right there, just throwing it in the same third to make sure that you can have that window. And David Parati just catching his second score of the game. That was beautiful.
So they've cleaned up. The game has been really clean overall. There's not been a lot of turnovers. The Fotta D-line are 100% perfect conversions. So they've had the disc off Grut 3 times and they scored 3 times. And at the moment, that's the difference between the two sides. Whereas Grut's D-line have had the disc twice and only scored 1 of them. And the O-line has been punished.
Exactly. And again, as a D-line player, I know there's kind of a rivalry. You know, you're on the same team, but you have the O-line and the D-line kind of debating. You're like, which one's going to get the point? Who's going to be better this game? And so with a 100% conversion rate, I know the D-line is looking pretty happy with that.
Well, yeah, strangely, this is, normally when they play for Fotta, these players out here for Fotta are just the offensive line. So, but, offensive players need to play some D. They need to be good at it because they are going to lose a disc, even when they're as clinical as they are. Popping it through the centre of that cup now, managing to find the way through to Harris. Low disc, forces Janssen to the floor, sets up for a big throw, doesn't send it. Ten Haken holsters that, moves it to Janssen. Janssen flicks across. Ten Haken has got it back now. Just moving the field around with the wave of the hand, while Janssen with an indoor flick overhead, resetting, trying to find a gap downfield. It's a much more one-on-one mark out of this initial set. And now they haven't reset yet. They're still in a zone, and they're still causing problems, and the zone moves so fast.
I mean, just kind of the athleticism right here between Fotta. And this is exactly what you expect from a CUSB Italian team. It's just kind of the energy and the athleticism to keep moving. But Grut really making them work at this point, just kind of finding the holes, taking their time, and using their throws to get creative open spaces.
Blasman looking for a way through, floats it across the top, asks the big questions of Ben Ort, and Ben Ort's got the big answers. Bohm. Well, that was just a mistake from Chris Harris. Tried to go with a double-handed grab, and it's straight away. It's gone sent downfield. It's going to be beyond both these receivers. Surely it's going to bid. Oh my goodness, he's taken it down. Davide Ferrero has brought the disc down. There was no chance he had on that disc. It was well beyond him. It was well beyond the receiver. My goodness, what have we seen there? What a rundown.
Oh my gosh, production crew, did you get a 4-star for that one, a 5-star? That was insane bookings right there. David Ferraro, again, we thought it was just out the reach, so we thought it was going to be a nice jog, but no, David Ferraro had just another idea in mind, just kind of keeping up with that disc, and you can just see him sprinting down and lunging off his feet for that. Oh my goodness.
He had 3 steps where he was already fully committed to that dive.
He was gearing it up.
And just in case anybody's wondering, we had a wander around on this field. This is a dry, hard field. There's no spring in this turf. That's like hitting concrete at 25 miles an hour. Incredible play.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. I'm still in awe. Wow.
Well, we saw Ben Ort go horizontal to kind of keep it alive, but that mistake from Chris Harris, not able to just simple, straight in front of your face, double-handed catch, drops it, and they've been punished now.
And even then, too, by Chris Harris, it's just on making the next play, the next move. You're going to say, okay, where's my next defenders? But you do have to stick to the basics of catching the disc. And as you can see there, he tried to get on defense, but what a play.
I don't think there was anything anybody could have done on defense to prevent that. I mean, that was throw. It was a proper hero maker of a pass. I don't think you'd describe that as textbook because it was so far out of range of the receiver. But when you've got receivers prepared to throw themselves at it like that, maybe it's all part of the Italian master plan as a big disc spirals through the sky. Misread, really horribly misread by Wout Janssen. Comes underneath the disc only to see it float over his head. Some Italian relief, and they've turned it over, and this is looking a little careless and a little bit fraught from the Netherlands.
As you can see right here, just Wout Janssen just getting it. Oh, he's so upset about that one because usually he doesn't make mistakes like that. They have the chemistry, but as you said, Grut just on their heels right now. They're kind of getting knocked back by this Fotta storm.
Korpi moves the disc across, back into the centre of the field with Pavan now. Sends it like a laser flying through the sky. Good body position. Janssen's going to have to come around. Oh, that was an absolute masterclass in positioning yourself and attacking the disc. Trombetti brings it down. Janssen, having misread the disc at one end, there was nothing he could do at that end. Perfect play.
It was beautiful, and even then, just kind of seeing the position too by Trombetti, just to kind of realize where his defender is, to box him out, to make sure that he has the best position the whole time. And honestly, Tom, I'm kind of asking some questions too. Why is Grut not called a timeout yet? You know, you kind of see this rampage going. You have timeouts to burn. You can't take them to the next game, so why not use them?
You can't imagine. There's a big height difference there. Janssen is a monster, and he's got big ups as well. But the way Edardo Trombetti changed his angle of his run, read where the disc was, saw the point he was going to get up early, and just made sure there was no way Janssen could have got to that disc without an awful lot of illegal contact. That was perfect. Janssen did well to avoid any contact and tried to keep it all legal, but he just didn't have a bid.
Exactly, and that honestly is what you could call textbook right there. So, interesting enough, Tom, with these Fotta pulls, it's interesting to kind of see how they wind up. I know I've seen them do it before with some of their other players too, so maybe it's just kind of an academy type thing, but it's really effective. As you know, I say that while they throw it out of bounds, but
it was the first outing we've seen for Nicholas Rapotnik in their 37 shirt. Distributing now to Steneker for Grut. The young Dutch side up against it now. Conceded 5 breaks. Flicks across. That's not really the reset option that you want to be using when there's Italian danger lurking. They've turned it over again. Gasparini moving the disc quickly. Rapotnik with a big convincing fake to send the player scampering into the end zone. Rossi sends it back across. Low hands required from Pavan. Pavan breaks underneath at a quick couple of points, a quick bit of movement. Arturo Laffi, the provider, and punching it into the end zone at the far side is Sebastian Rossi.
It's just, yeah, Tom, I mean, this game is kind of getting out of hand, honestly, right now. I'm still just surprised they're not calling a timeout. I mean, I know Grut's kind of coming here to get a little bit more experience, just kind of to have fun and field out some more, you know, kind of competition amongst their players. But that also starts with kind of regrouping right now. As you see, they just assemble back at the line.
I mean, their option there, their safe reset swing option was a 35-meter swing pass that was 15 meters off the ground and knifing in with plenty of time for the defender to get underneath. I mean, that's how you get turned over.
It is.
They've got to find a way to actually get through this cup with the short ball. And at the moment, they're relying on passes which maybe against other teams would work. And this is a team that's very comfortable with a range of throws in a range of conditions. But against Fotta, it ain't happening for them.
No, not at all. I mean, just you can see Fotta has the athleticism. They have the pace to get there wherever they need to on the pitch. So, again, I like the hammers. I like the OI throws, and it's necessary in the cup, but it's just not going to work against them right now.
That's Nicholas Ropotnik, this time keeping the pull inside, going against the wind a little bit more. Wind coming from our left and slightly behind across the field. Travel called. No, it's not called. It's comes back. It's going to the middle. Janssen kind of throws the disc over the head. Simple passes have been taken away so quickly by Fotta. It looks like a cup, but the reaction there of Corpi, as soon as the disc turned around, and they're having to throw again another rangy, angled pass across the heads. It's the movement within the cup which is so effective. Again, it's a cross-field pass. This time it's misread by Corpi, who just touches the D, and he'll be crossing with himself and perhaps laughing that one off. They've gone to a one-on-one mark now. Oh, there's the throws. Can they find a way through? Looking at the end zone. Stop looking at the end zone. Use the passes that are there. They finally find one. Vidkum gets it back to Van der Brink. Little bit of pressure, and the stall count getting high. Jacks it in, and it's read better, and the Italians have it once more, and this time another flat laser of a disc goes up. Ben Orts can't get there. Better position from the Italians. They dump, they reset, they get the position, they get the rest of the team back up here. A low disc doesn't go to the ground. Mastroianni with an option to fire it in now. Can he find a way through? Oh, he just throws it onto the ground ahead of the fast-running Trombetti. They're all frustrated, but Grut have another chance.
Mastroianni right there kind of getting low to get that catch, but just the throwaway on the goal line was, let's see if the Grut offense can muster up some holes right here.
Gets it across to Janssen. Orts coming. You have to rescue his hat at some point. Janssen finds Ort on the far side. Looks downfield. There is options awaiting. Blasman's cutting deep. Fotta so quick, and that was just lazy from Volt Janssen. Could have gone with the two hands, went with the one, didn't connect. It's a turnover. Fotta with another chance. Oh, they're going to be a bit more clinical this time. Zani calls a timeout, just as Corey has been saying that Grut ought to have done a long, long time ago, Corey.
Yes, no, I mean, I think Fotta having that experience too, just to say, you know, we need to calm down. We're in a good position. As you can see, players getting stretched out on the field. I think the fatigue is starting to wear on. It's hot outside. It's hot, Tom. So, you know, just kind of getting that break, mentally and physically readjusting, and then coming back so that way they can see if they can get another break going. But, oh my goodness, can we talk about that scuba right there in front of us? That was beautiful. That thing just sailed across. That's what I like to call a Scooby snack right there.
That was a 60-meter scuba.
Yeah.
Directly into the hands.
And usually sometimes with scubas too, they kind of just get caught in the wind, so they die down and just kind of fluster, get caught by the defense. But that thing was whipping right through the air.
What was a shame was that when he looked up, there was a one-on-one in the end zone, and I was backing the receiver every time to get himself free. But the moment he didn't make that first cut, the guy with the disc turned around and then had nothing really to look at, and then the options ran out fast, and then the rest of the team arrived, and it didn't work out so well.
Exactly. When you have those opportunities, you have those windows, they might be small, but you got to take them, because like you said, you're never guaranteed to have another one, and it could come back to haunt them.
Yeah, that's maybe the nerves sort of coming in. They you know, this is a team that very much plays with confidence, and as soon as that confidence starts to ebb, then they do sort of look nervous real fast.
Mm-hmm.
They can re-establish themselves in this game. They do have a chance to come back. Still plenty of time. What have we got? 33 minutes on the clock. The Italians putting together a run of 3 breaks from 3-3, from 2-3 to 5-3, and then another 3 breaks from 6-4 to 9-4. So they're doing fantastic work. Across the field, Mastroianni misreads, but on the second time he's in the end zone, milking it in. Slightly accidentally, but they all count.
Exactly. I mean, they'll take it any way they can get. And even then, that might not have been the throw they had in mind, but that was the play they had in mind. And that's why it's such important to call a timeout and just kind of readjust to have those set plays called. Because, like you said, they made it look efficient right there. That's what you practice. Yeah,
they're looking very, very strong. You see that first go, doesn't get it, second go. Yeah, I'll have that, thank you very much. Oh, look, I'm in the end zone now. That's convenient.
Put it on the scoreboard, put it on the stat sheet.
That's right. Yeah, Tom Stiles alongside Corey So Straight, covering this last game in the pool. And I think if this will leave La Fotta at the top of the pool, it'll leave Grut in 3rd place in this pool. They lost a Universe point game against Pelt, and they were somewhat frustrated by that. The other team in the pool is Smash D, and they've all 3 teams, I think, have won the game against Smash D. So, well, actually, that's we don't know that because Pelt are playing Smash D now, and I suppose if Smash D beat Pelt, there may be
a battle at the bottom.
A battle at the bottom, yeah.
But even then, too, not to take away from this Grut team, even though the score is 10-4, La Fotta, I think it's just honestly more impressive to see just how much dominant they're coming, because this Grut team is with confidence. They have the throws, but they're getting very frustrated here with this La Fotta team.
It's the actual mark on the handler is so good. Laffy getting around and preventing the easy pass. Trying to find gaps that really aren't there. Contact made, and there's going to be a foul call. I'm not sure there's going to be too much complaint about that. It looked like there was a fair amount of body-to-body action.
I agree with you, Tom, and even then I think they agree too. I think it's an uncontested foul.
So Grut still have it. They trail by 6. Tom's Tourney bathed in sunshine. The Battle of Bruges continues. This young Dutch side, the male portion of the Dutch mixed team Grut. Female portion played very, very well this morning. The disc has gone back into Italian hands now, though. Again, Grut making a few handling errors. Seeing discs that just are not on and then not executing them when they are. Laffy sends it into the end zone, and they make a mistake of their own. That was a very stretched shot.
Yeah, right there too. I mean, I thought Laffy just had the conversion to Rossi in the back right there. I thought it was just a simple pitch and go, score. Let's book it up for the next point, but it turns out there's still much to go. But honestly, I think with La Fotta right here, they still are not too worried about that. They have them in prime condition right there for Grut to maybe throw a Callahan. It looks like it's on Callahan watch.
Yeah, they're so quick, and it's the footwork here that you need to watch. So the mark is Gasparini. And now Laffy. But the movement of the following the pivot of the thrower, and then when the disc does move, how quickly that zone re-establishes its position and just takes away the options. And there's nothing deep here at all. So La Fotta aren't having to commit players to the deep space. They can keep them all around the disc. And that makes it difficult. Look, there's 5 La Fotta players within a 10-yard vertical space. Now there's a bit of a deep option opening up. Mawson is available deep. It's going to go right across the field, but it had gone too deep and couldn't come back. Jasper ten Hanken, the disc dying in front of him into the turf.
And as La Fotta, that's exactly kind of the throw you want. I mean, even though they didn't have anybody deep for Grut, you know, it was a hammer, the wind's kind of taking it and it dies down right there, and that's what your defense plays for.
Gasparini. kicking us off again, Pava. Cross to the far side, Brugge.
Oh!
Couldn't quite, just got a fingertip touch to it. Back into Dutch hands.
And I think there too, that looks like it was just like the intimidation D. I'm not sure if he did get a hand on that. But even then, an intimidation D sometimes is as good as a normal D. You just want to make sure that it doesn't get caught.
Yeah, he got right into his eye line. Too much on that one. Going to the ground for Kashap. Gasparini. Fuka called in again to cover up the deep space. It's a fast sprint, but the low release, the flicks, they're so flat, they're so precise, and they're so scoring for Fotta. Absolute perfection from the halfway line. Not a touch of wobble, just an absolute laser of a shot.
And it was right underneath the foot block too. That was impressive. Like, just to have that kind of rotation, just not make it get again foot blocked, but it was amazing.
It was deep inside the half, actually.
They just make it look so easy.
They do.
There.
They make the game look easy, and anyone that knows how hard it is to throw the disc that hard with such a tiny window so close to the ground, and then the resulting disc to be that flat and that quick, it's incredible.
Exactly. There's just so many things, like you say, that can go wrong, and so many components to that throw, but he just nailed all of them. I mean, again, just kind of the motion, the height, the reach. It was just beautiful.
So the D train is rolling for Fotta. That's 5 breaks on the bounce.
Jeez.
They've had their first couple of mistakes, actually. 3 turns for the D line. And those are the first 3 turns for the D line in the game so far, in the last 2 points. So their perfect conversion rate is down to 75%, but they are still, every time that the Grut offensive line lose the disc, Fotta have scored in that point. Oh, that's just looking lazy and poor execution. The disc behind Benort, deep in his own end zone. Short field gifted to Fotta. They're coming to the front corner, looking for a reset. Looking for anything now. Still can't getting higher. They're going to have to find something. Floats it across the field into space. Laffy running onto it. Can they find anything back? Just the movement of Laffy there. Quick pass, quick movement, jumping it in. It's so easy for Zani. With 3 blocks for the game, that's a goal to go with his assist.
And it looks like right there, too, he kind of has the perfect trifecta, the block, the assist, and the goal. But even then, too, I mean, you can kind of just see this Grut team just kind of tired. I mean, they don't have many subs here. They're playing every point. They're giving it all they got. But like you said right there, too, that initial throw was just, it was just hard. And I think it's more fatigue than anything coming into it.
Yeah, well, I wonder, when players are making that decision, like the decision there is, I'm going to throw this disc, but then I'm not going to make sure my balance is right. I'm not going to make sure the execution is right. I'm going to throw it too far behind the player. So, okay, maybe that is the right throw, but the execution was big.
Exactly. And
big
that might
mistakes.
be kind of, I guess, an attestation to like the mental exhaustion, just to be like, if I can just get it out there in any way I need to, even if my fundamentals are not there. And like you said, that's the result right there, which is a close goal line conversion again from the Fotta defense.
Interesting, a team that almost always play as a mixed side. This time, just the boys out here for Grut. Like I say, the mixed team splitting themselves between the men's, women, and the women's division. The women winning very nicely this morning.
And actually, I think, I could be wrong. No, yeah, they did one pretty nicely, pretty considerably too.
I'm just going to check. I can't remember. I commentated on the game. I should know exactly what happened. But
and I took the stats for that one.
You took the stats between us. We should know. And luckily, we have them all written down, so it's fine. Let's have a look. It was Grut ladies versus Disco Bolo, and the final score was 13-8. Yeah, so it was a pretty convincing win with 3 breaks in the first half, and then another 3 in the second. Not that we're really playing halves here. It's just straight on an hour game. Who to goes, finish the point.
Exactly. And it looks like Alti TV just kind of loves these Netherlands-Italian matchups too, because this is the second one of the day.
Well, I think the whole European scene has a bit of a soft spot for Grut.
Yes.
It's such a great story, and you know, if we can cover it, we generally put it on the stream. We chose these games with the help of the Tom's Tourney tournament director Boris, who's been putting us up and looking after us. And we both said, yeah, this is going to be a great game. Let's put it on the stream. And Fotta are showing the absolute class they have. 12-4 the score. Ort with a short knife forward. Runs through, gains 15 yards, spiraling into the end zone. That's better from Grut. Ben Ort going every other and scoring in the slightly unconventional but very effective style. Volt Janssen on the reception.
And even then, too, with kind of Ben Ort right there, I mean, that's just the class that we've been seeing. We saw scoobers, we've seen hammers, but that's just a nice hammer right there. Again, to his main man, Volt Janssen, to kind of have some redemption right there and get the train right back. Again, it might be a little bit too late to kind of make that comeback, but I've seen crazier things in Ultimate, so never count anybody out.
Yeah, the wind is getting up now. One of the things that I think we can probably say is that hasn't really affected the Italians. There's still 15 minutes left in this game, though, Corey. Anything can happen. Stranger things have happened. Can the Dutch use that and an opportunity now to go down on defense to throw something new at the Italians and maybe knock them off their stride?
It could even, you know, maybe they could use a page out of their book and kind of maybe throw a cup out there as well, too, because we've seen person-to-person defense. Honestly, I mean, I haven't seen much defense from Grut just recently because of all these breaks, but just to kind of see a little bit of change.
Yeah. You haven't got anything to lose at this point, have they?
No.
Big arm. That is huge, Paul. We like that.
Wow.
Deep in the end zone, coming in hard and fast. Getting down there, but not getting down there as quick as the Italians have been doing. Brauman is the first receiver. And finally it comes down with Morris Vidkum bringing that in. There was Nicholas Rapotnik was underneath it. He didn't get it. And now going back the other way, having sent the big Paul, he's now reading it in. Lots of pressure from Zani all the way. But Schaap has got it. And a pop pass forward, and the D-train with the Netherlands flag flying from the window has just pulled out of the station and maybe about to go on a ride.
And like we said, Tom, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to call it a comeback just yet, but they're getting the train rolling. It could be a pretty nice story right here. And just a nice deep hook look and then an easy offense conversion right there. And that's what you practice, honestly.
Volker Schaap with that big reception. It is such a distinctive part of the Grut game is the deep shots to their big receivers. And when they're working, it looks amazing. And when they don't work, they look like they've got nothing else. And so if they can keep that part of their game strong and catch those discs, they'll be a very competitive side. But they need to go and take the disc back off Fotta.
Just seeing it here, too, I mean, I completely agree with you, Tom. Like one of our commentating partners earlier today said, you can't teach height. And that's what a strength of this Dutch team is that they have very tall players. So use that to your advantage. Go take some deep shots, get some conversions, and get some breaks. But then again, it's also easy for me to say it in the booth rather than on the field in the moment.
That's another big pull. This one catching the wind. Back of the field, Rapotnik picks it up. Passes it forward to Kozara. High stall count, Rapotnik again. Low release, catches it in stride with Rossi. Rossi finds Mastroianni, sprinting forward down the line, looks across the field, there's a lot of space over there. Janssen well off his man. Prodi into the back corner and Fotta making it look easy. Why was there so much space for Davide Prodi on that far corner, Corey?
That's a great question. I mean, I think, again, just kind of the fatigue of Volt Vanson just kind of coming into play right here. He's played every point. He's been mostly their main handler between him and Ben Orton. Just, I think at that point, just kind of getting a little lackluster, trying to see the other route and help out, and just losing his person and getting caught sleeping right there.
A little bit too easy. The number 10 shirt for Fotta has played a very active part in this game. I think that might be Alessandro Daluca. If you'd let us know in the comments if that is Alessandro Daluca, we'll try and get it on. If you're watching, we'd appreciate your support. Number 10 for Fotta is not on our roster, so just help us out there if you could.
And as we watch right here, you know, just kind of a chill timeout just to kind of get things going again. Fotta, I think, emphasizing the point, hey, we only have 2 more points left. Let's finish this thing. While Grut's just saying, hey, you know, we've had 2 points, a break and a hold, and then we just got broke, or just had some hold right there. Let's see if we can get one back on offense. As the disc comes in, the pull is getting kind of windy too, but look at that thing hang. I mean, it doesn't have much depth though.
It's not got down there too far, but the pulls have been pretty good from both sides. Not seen very many of them go out of bounds. Finding a nice fast disc forward. Ten Haken. Epstein to Janssen. Janssen forward, Van der Brink looking for a shot. He goes for the spiraling hammer over, and just in the back corner, keeping the feet in. Fogschap with the catch. And has it been called out?
I think it's out.
I think it's been called out by, it was an indoor pass in the breeze.
Oh, yeah, no, again, I saw him in the back of the end zone just waiting for it. He had his hands up, he was waiting, but it's also hard when the stall count gets high just to throw it across the field like that. But Norton said, I'll take that.
Yeah, there's a turnover back, just not quite in the end zone yet. Again, these are just execution errors. 2 mistakes there. One, the pass into the end zone should have been slightly delayed and then should have been milked in. And then when it didn't come back and it went back, Ben Orts just rushed the shot into the end zone, not passed to the player, passed in front, and didn't quite have the connection and the chemistry to make it count. And Grut giving up a really good opportunity on the front of the end zone. Fotta with the second chance to come back down. More turnovers in this point than we've had in the last few. It's been a very clean game, especially the first sort of 10 or 11 points. Very, very clean indeed. The only mistakes really coming from Grut, and they were being punished hard. Fotta now in the centre of the field with Zani. Pivots. Gets it back to Corpi. Tromberti. Coming out of the end zone is Pavin. Front corner, Tromberti calls for the score. Benalt not so sure. Says he wasn't in, jumped from out of bounds. Quick flick for the reset. You dump and then you swing. Swing cut isn't available, then you jam it down the middle and catch the front of the end zone, and Riccardo Zani scores. They're within 1 of taking this game. You don't see very many games to go to 15 when you've only got an hour to play them in, but I think that's about what Fotta are going to do.
I think so too. I mean, we're just getting in there, and I think this is the first game on the stream to go to 15. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we had it close last game. But yeah, Fotta just kind of taking their game and going away with it and ensuring that they can get this. So they're hoping for the break to end it.
I think we had one other this morning. I think LMU did a fantastic job. Or was it Is No Good? Is No Good beating Kapow 15-6.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
that was
right.
also a pretty one-sided match. Is No Good picking up Joe White and Tim Schock from the USA.
And I might sound a little biased here, but what player was Joe White in that game? I mean, the man was throwing assists, he was throwing scores, catching scores. He looked phenomenal out there.
He did, but I mean, the stats show that the whole of the Is No Good side were taking part in that game, and you know, you add a little bit of salt and pepper on top of the dish, but the dish has got to be solid and stand up to its own. And Is No Good, the Parisian powerhouse, coached by our very own Steph Rapazzo, enjoying a bit of action.
And even that name, Is No Good, might be a little misleading because they were pretty good
They
in that
were
game. Like
pretty
you said,
damn
everybody
good.
was very solid, kind of making the connections, a full-oiled machine. So honestly, they have high expectations for this tournament.
So apparently Is No Good was a cartoon character.
Really?
Similar to sort of Asterix. His name was Is No Good. Is that correct, Christina? We don't know. I looked up Is No Good the other day, and the cartoon character came up alongside the Frisbee team. So I was like, ah, right, that's why they're called that.
All right.
That's Aaron's. Oh, going to be greatest. Oh, he caught it. Forkashap throwing himself at that disc, landing, throwing the disc back over his head before it landed. It soared through the air. It was the 44 shirt of Aaron Mawson right underneath it. It was coming in hard and wind was blowing it. Let's have a look at the option again here. Throws it. It was a bad pass. Out. Oh my goodness. He landed 3 meters out and still managed to get that off. But it was coming out of the sun and couldn't connect. Fotta with a chance to close this game out, and they make it look so easy. Sebastian Rossi with the score. And the game for Fotta, the Italian striding forward, winning the pool here at Tom's Tourney. Myself, Tom Stars, alongside Corey Sostre for this one. And Corey, just wrap up the game for us there. It's been a dominant performance by these Italians.
It really has, and honestly, Tom, I mean, it really was just super dominant by Fotta. Kind of at first they were a little shaky right there, but then they got their footing, continued to make the breaks, and like we said, we had so many conversions, so many D-line breaks, and just I'm still kind of in awe by that greatest right there, the almost to be greatest. That was amazing. It's just I'm kind of in shock, but again, it was beautiful by Fotta. Grut, coming out here, gaining the experience that they needed and that they came to this tournament for. And I think, again, they have the fundamentals down, but there's just some pieces that are missing. They just kind of need to tighten it up a little bit, but they can have some success later on too.
There was the maturity in the Fotta performance there. There's no shortage of talent on the Grut side, and that comes through every time we watch them. But what there was a lack of there is a little bit of maturity. Some of the throws, some of the decision making, some of the impatience, some of the execution just isn't quite polished enough. And when you're playing against this, the Italians here, their footwork is incredible, their blocking, their marking is incredible, the windows are so tight, and when you give them half a yard, they put this perfect 60-meter flat disc into the end zone, and it's a gorgeous game to watch. We do hope wherever you've been watching it, you've enjoyed it. From myself and Corey, thanks very much for watching. The Ulti TV crew bringing you action from Tom's Tourney here in Bruges for the whole weekend, and we'll be back shortly with more action. I think we're taking a short break, which is lucky for us. So do join us straight at 6:10, where we'll have a women's crossover going with Rachel Douglas and Didzis Maldaris covering that one for you. So until then, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you soon.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world.